I am live. Welcome to Growing Gratitude. I am Becca Lori Hector, your host here for every. Oh, I had a cat in here. Oh, how interesting. Is he going to make me get up and open the door? I hope not. Well, welcome to Growing Gratitude. I'm Becca Lori Hector, your host for every Growing Gratitude here live on our channel. A little here. I feel crooked. Let's see, is that less crooked? That's less crooked. Yay. Okay. On Growing Gratitude, every week we talk about the challenges of being an autistic adult, alive or right now, and what we do to get ourselves through, how we motivate our way, and what those challenges look like, right? And I talk a lot about my personal experiences and stuff. And so, what I think is really interesting about it, though, and I thought about this briefly this week, is that I still have challenges, and I'm almost 15 years post identification, and I've been working on all of this for these last 15 years, right? And that doesn't make the challenges go away. And I think that's one of the reasons why I continue to do Growing Gratitude, because what I want to show you guys is that, you know, here I am 15 years later. I am no more or less autistic than I was when I got identified 15 years ago. And before that, too, right? I was just as autistic prior to identification, and none of that has changed for me, right? That doesn't change. But what does change is how I decide to respond to some of the challenges that I've got going on, right? And how, which I hope then inspires you guys to kind of take on your challenges in different ways and think about them from a different way, right? Rather than the way that the ugly world tells us to think about it. So here we are doing that yet again. So let's get into it this week. We are inside again. I am in my office. I hope that some of you caught last week's live stream. I was one, bless you, Miller. I don't know if you just heard my cat sneeze. But I talked a lot about last week, kind of some of the days that just don't feel great when you're autistic and what that feels like. I talked a little bit about that. So I hope that you caught that last week, because it was kind of a vulnerable edition of Growing Gratitude. And I don't often, I try to talk to you guys, or I try to come to you guys with things that I've kind of worked my way through, so that I have some, I don't know, some semblance of something competent to share with you around the topic. And last week's was really raw. Last week, I really was feeling dysregulated, feeling a lot of rage, just kind of struggling with everything. And I didn't have any thoughts around it. I just wanted to share with you what the struggle looks like for me. And this week, I'm in a lot better shape than I was last Sunday. There's no reason for it. Again, right? No reason for last week's kind of episode or whatever. And well, maybe there's a little reason for it, I guess. I've had the last few days off, and I desperately, desperately needed them. I hit Wednesday of this week, and literally the universe had to stop me and say, you must rest. And that's exactly what happened. And I'm going to tell you what happened, because it's such a crazy, weird thing. So as I was getting to Wednesday, I knew that I had this past Thursday off. I knew it was coming up a holiday. It was Juneteenth. And so I had that day off. And then I kind of was like, you know what, since I have that day off, let me just follow that up with some extra days off, right? Schedule myself with no meetings, make sure that, on my full-time job, take off those days. And I just was really feeling depleted, just really tired, right? And maybe that's where the rage was coming from last Sunday, right? It was because I really had reached that dysregulation point of exhaustion. And so by the time that the following Wednesday came around, I was like, oh, I cannot wait for Thursday. I just have to get through today's meetings. But the universe was like, yeah, lady, here's the thing. You're really tired, and I know you want to get through your meetings today, but we're not going to do those meetings. We're going to have to cancel them and reschedule them, because what the universe did for me was the day before, on Tuesday, I got a little bug bite on my eyelid, and that is the weirdest feeling and the most annoying sensory experience that I've had in a very long time. like right at my lash line on this eye, I got a bug bite, right? And it was itchy and annoying. And I was like, man, that's really annoying. I hope I'm not getting like a sty, or I hope something's not happening, right? And I showed it to Antonio and he was like, oh, it looks like you got like a little scratch or something. Like, right. Well, the next morning, that Wednesday morning, I woke up and my eye was swole shut, like just about. I looked like I had been in, some kind of battle. and just and so I was messing with my vision. I couldn't quite see right, and blinking felt weird, and it itched so badly. And of course, when you Google what you're supposed to do about a bug bite on your eyelid, the internet, don't touch it, is what everything says. Don't touch it. You can do a cold compress. There's nothing you can really put on it. You can take some Benadryl, but don't touch it. Right. And so meanwhile, my whole eye was just like swollen up. Right. And I had some meetings of things to do. And I was like, okay, well, obviously, not only am I tired, but universe was like, you need to just chill out. So I ended up on Wednesday having to cancel a bunch of meetings, right? Morning, Bernard. I had to cancel a bunch of meetings on Wednesday, which I ended up doing. And so some things got rescheduled, and they're rescheduled for today, which is why I am coming to you from my office again, because I have things to do today from the office. As soon as you and I are done here and we're done chitty chatting, I have to get my day started, because I missed Wednesday. And the universe said, listen, you have to stop living your life, Becca, by this BS. Monday through Friday is work days, Saturday, Sunday are not work days. What you need are the days off when you need them, right? Oh, there goes my cat Miller, because he's locked in here with me. Let's see if we can make it through. Hey, Mail. I might have to call for his release, I think. We'll see. Any case, so you don't need to like. I need to break away from those ideas that aren't even real. They don't work with our cycles and our brains and the way that our bodies function. It doesn't work with the seasons. It doesn't work with any of that, because right, we're just on the heels of solstice, which is the longest day of the year, right? And that's when we should be doing the most, right? And all of those things. I'm just watching my cat climb a wall right now. This is I'm sorry, I have to look away. Anyway, so that's kind of what I was been thinking about. And so it was like Wednesday came and I was like, you know what, I just have to cancel some things. I had to cancel the things where I had to really um look at. Thank you so much. You've been released. He's been released and saved. Thank you, Antonio. Anyway, so I was thinking all about, and so I had to cancel all those things, unexpectedly canceled those meetings. And what I ended up doing was rescheduling some of them for today. Why, Becca? You almost never work on Sundays. That's like your boundary about Sundays. Well, this Sunday is an exception to the rule. And here's why. I said to self, you need to reschedule some of these things. You don't schedule on Sunday, but this Sunday I'm doing a live conversation with folks. So I was invited to do like a roundtable kind of conversation about redefining success and redefining what success means to you, with a bunch of other folks who do similar personal development type coaching work that I do. All the other women that are going to be on the panel with me are in totally other fields from me. They don't work in disability, they don't work in autism neurodiversity. So it's not going to be a neurodiversity conversation. And that is the most appealing thing to my brain these days. I love showing up and having the autistic community show up and be represented in conversations where we are not expected to be there. Right? You think that other people are sitting out there, good morning, Burnett, sitting out there going, oh, a lovely conversation on Sunday about redefining success. Let's talk about autism and neurodiversity. No, they don't even know that that's what they're going to be talking about today. They think they're having this lovely personal development conversation. And what that means for me as a professional and for my brand and my career is that I get to have eyes on me and people and ears listening to me, and some exposure to, right, parts of the world and human beings and groups that wouldn't ordinarily hear the crap that I talk about. right? Because most of the time, the crap that I talk about stays in our little neurodiversity community, or maybe at most it gets itself out into the greater disability community, right? But it kind of stops there. And so when an opportunity comes up for me to reach another set of people that doesn't yet know how much they need to know about our community, I get goosebumpy. I get excited. I'm a little jazzed, right? And so, even though this conversation is on a Sunday, and normally I would say, thank you so much for thinking of me. I don't work on Sundays, so good luck. I recommend this person, right? I was like, you know what? I'm going to do this one. It's 2 hour live conversation on a Sunday afternoon, and I am going to be able to reach people that I wouldn't normally ever reach, right? I'm going to do it. And who knows what this little conversation is going to end up being about. And who knows what these lovely women that I'm going to be sharing this conversation, what their perspective is going to bring to the conversation. I'm fascinated by it. I've never met any of these women before. I've only met one of the women before I was on her podcast, and that's how I got invited to this greater conversation. So because I was already doing this Sunday, I was like, you know what? I'm just going to reschedule those things that I have to do. I'm going to offer my Sunday as a day to reschedule it, right? Which I normally wouldn't. Oh, thank you for being here, Rose and Rebellion. I love seeing you. It really brings me joy in a way that you don't understand. So yeah, that's what I'm doing this Sunday. This afternoon, I'm going to be in part of this conversation, and I have no idea where it's headed, right? Obviously, I'm not going Sunday or don't care to this conversation. I'm going to go take a shower when we're done. So that's my point, is that starting my morning with you guys, right? And chitty chatting with you guys, so that then I can go get myself together for the world and have a little chitty chatty there. So I can't wait to have this, because the conversation around success, that the definition of success for you guys who've taken my course, you know that that's the first conversation, right? That was my first word, right? When I was like, well, what are the words that are tripping me up in life, right? My first word was success, right? And redefining that word success so that it fits for me, so that when I look at my life, I go, success, right? Not somebody else's success, but my success, right? And what success looks like to me, right? Because I've achieved a lot of success according to other people, right? And like previously in my life, I've definitely had moments of success where lots of people were proud of me, told me I was successful, and I yet did not feel inside successful at all. I felt like a phony and a fake, and like all I did was figure out the formula, like the algorithm for that version of success, and punch it in, right? But it didn't feel fulfilling, didn't feel sustainable, didn't feel, nothing about it worked, right? So I know that this is going to be a real juicy conversation for me, because that's where I really began my whole journey, was with this word that I felt was like a cursed word, right? I have others of them. One day we'll talk about them. I think the one that I'm still, I have words that I've grown past, right? For example, success, where I've redefined it, figured out where it fits in my life, understand my version of it and what that looks like, all of that stuff. But I still have words I haven't tackled, right? That I know are trigger words for me. And I'll share one with you right now. Friend, the word friend, friendship, friends, that word. Most of my life, when people use that word and they were in my life and that word was attached to them, that behavior and that relationship didn't feel or look like what I think friendship should feel or look like. And so I've always been disappointed by friendship. I've always been hurt by friendship. And the word friend, when I say it, I feel like I can't say the word friend without being like, friend, without giving it good old quotes around it. Yeah, she's my friend. Because right? Nobody's really my friend, right? So I still have work around that to do. Obviously, it's loaded for me. But I did my work around success. So I'm excited to have this conversation, because I want to hear the work that these other ladies did around their version of success. And I hope that we kind of really bounce great ideas off of each other, and raise each other's vibration and fill each other up, right? And I'm hoping that this 2 hours is a nice lovely glimmer in my life, where maybe I'll have an idea for another course to give, or maybe I'll something else will come out of it. Maybe a fantastic collaboration with one of these women that I've never even met. But I'm looking forward to the whole thing. I really am. And so when I said I have to work on Sunday, I said, well, can I do any of the things that I had to do on Wednesday with my soul and I that I could no longer do on Sunday? And sure enough, some of the people that I worked with, some of them said, let's reschedule for next week. Don't worry. Some of them said, you know what? Sunday's perfect. My day is full today too. Why do we have to do everything on Wednesday? Why are Wednesdays so full? Right. And so it really ended up working out for the better. I got the day of rest that I needed and was then forced to take, right? Um, and I moved things over here to Sunday where I'm taking a voluntary day that I usually have off, and I'm very consciously, right, saying this Sunday is an exception to that usual boundary around weekends, because what a great opportunity, right? And it's why when we talk about boundaries, you guys, I talk often about how we build our boundaries, but we want them to be strong, but we also want them to have a certain amount of flexibility to them, right? Because we don't want to get so stuck in our boundaries that we don't also allow ourselves opportunity, right? If I got so stuck in this boundary around never working on Sundays and I don't take this opportunity for what could be a magical conversation, right? What terrible, what other doors am I closing on myself, right? And so the idea is that boundary is there to protect me, right? And to save my space and to keep my spoons, right? But if I'm really consciously deciding that there's something I want to do, my boundaries are there to aren't there to keep me from doing what I want to do, right? That's not their job. Their job is to protect my space, right? And so this Sunday is an exception, and I'm excited, as you can feel in my energy, I think, to have this conversation. And so here we are on gratitude. I'm just kind of sharing that with you, that's kind of my lesson for today. Is it's a lesson around boundaries, but also a lesson around opportunities, and also really a lesson on listening to yourself and the universe when the message is stop. Just stop and sit and rest. Reschedule, do those things, and the world will still be there for you when you're ready, right? And chances are they'll be better, because if I hadn't sat and rested on Wednesday, maybe my eye wouldn't be better today, right? And I wouldn't be able to have this lovely conversation that I'm headed to having, right? So that's my story of the day. That's my little breakdown of the day for you guys, why I'm still in my office. Because as soon as we're done, I'm going to go take my mandatory shower, because it's been a few days, as always is on Sunday when you see me with Sunday hair, don't care. But today I'm going to take a shower so I can get ready for this afternoon. I have a few things to do, some of the things rescheduled, and then that one thing. If you're interested in this really lovely conversation that I've just spent the last 10 minutes talking about, please come and see it. I have put the links right below in the description. You can see it in a bunch of different platforms. I think there's 3 different links. You can watch it on LinkedIn, on YouTube, and a couple of other places. I just popped those links into this description right before we started. So that's at 12 noon Pacific time and 3 p.m. Eastern time. So for me, it'll be 3 p.m. In the afternoon. And so hopefully I'll still have some energy left over from the other things that I'm doing to be having this fantastic conversation. So please head there. I would love to see you guys there. I would love for you to I don't know, enjoy the conversation. I am unsure whether it's being recorded and shared after the fact, but of course, if it is, I will share it with you guys. And yeah, any other reminders, Breen? Just the usual, to please, please, please sign up for the newsletter. It's the end of June. The July newsletter will be coming out. I think I have it set for the 1st of July. I think that July 1st is the first Tuesday in the month. And so I am doing Tuesday, July 1st in the morning. So if you are not yet signed up for the newsletter, it is FREE free. It is a bunch of mushed together things and my inner thoughts. And usually it is quite themed. I give you some exercises and tools that you can use, as well as sharing some other things like special discounts and whatnot in there too. So please, you can head over to beccalaurie.com. That link is in the description. You can sign up for the newsletter. You can also follow me on Patreon. I have a level just for my YouTube friends where you can support Growing Gratitude and just Growing Gratitude by being a gratitude grower. That level will keeps this channel going so that I can continue to do the things that I do here live for you guys. And we can continue these conversations where we talk about all of these important things. And with that, you guys, I'm going to say that is gratitude for today. Blah. And I say, this is my giant reminder to you, as I remind you every week, right? What do? We have to make sure that we take care of our meat suit, right? Take care of the meat suit. We have to protect the headspace, right? And whatever we do, we must be open to our glimmers, right? Keep our eyes, ears, nose, everything, all our 8 senses systems open for all the glimmers out there, because we're always making memories, right? And in days and times like we're having now in the United States, and kind of the vibe that's kind of out there, the energy that's out there, we really need our glimmers, right? We really need to be paying attention and capturing them, because they are the reason we wake up every day, right? They're the reason that we keep going, and the reason that we wake up and say, yeah, today could be a good one, right? And with that, I say I will see you out on the interwebs. I will be back here next Sunday at 10 a.m. Eastern to do the next Growing Gratitude, and I hope to see you here then. And until then, I'll see you on social. Have a good rest of your day, you guys. Bye.